Coming to Canada as an international student, it is exciting, but it can also feel overwhelming. Between your visa, your flight ticket, housing, and then all these government rules that keep on changing every time, it's a whole lot. So, on today's video, I'm going to walk you through like the new changes that have happened for international students and what you need to know in 2025. But I'm not just going to speak about that. I'm also going to like give you the kind of tips, insider tips that will kind of save you stress, save you money, and even keep you out of all the troubles at the airport. So, if you watching right now are planning to study in Canada, in September of 2025, go and grab yourself a notebook because you are going to want to write down these tips that I'm going to share with you today. Are you ready? Okay, number one, first impressions. You see, you know how people always say that your network is your net worth? That's true here in Canada. The first set of people that you meet when you arrive, whether it's your classmates, your roommates, or even people that you bump into during your day-to-day course of life, they can literally shape your journey. And I'll give you an example. I know students who landed and the first friends they made, they were super motivated. They were always sharing like scholarship information, job tips, and helping each other to prepare for interviews. Guess what? All of them graduated and they got their PR within a few years. On the other hand, there are also some students I know who got stuck in circles where it was all about going to parties, finding the shortcuts for immigration, and some of them ended up dropping out of their own courses or overstaying their visas. So my first tip for you today is be intentional with your circle from day one. Surround yourself with people who are moving forward, not backwards. All right, we got that out of the way. Booking your flight. Let's talk about this because this is where a lot of international students get caught off guard when booking their tickets. Please, this is my advice. Make sure that you don't pick a connecting flight that requires a transit visa. Imagine that you are flying from Lagos to Toronto with a layover in London or New York. Guess what? You will need a transit visa even if you are not going to leave the airport. But this is my advice to all of you. Keep it simple and go with only one connection. So that when you're booking your ticket, your connection has to be just one. Ensure that there is no requirement for a visa to that connecting country. And if you can afford it, buy a one-way ticket, as in buy a direct ticket. It will save you all the stress before you come to Canada. And if Toronto is not your I call it Toronto, it's Toronto, is not your final destination, make sure that you have your booked ticket for your flight to the next airport. And here is the golden rule, because I always tell people, pack your passport and all your study documents in your carry-on luggage. And by study documents, I mean like your acceptance letter, your passport, and enough money in your carry-on luggage. If you put in your checked-in luggage, you will have problems because at the airport, the CBSA officer is going to check your document and also issue you your actual study permit. So you need to have everything you need in your carry-on. Your visa allows you to come to Canada. It is your study permit that gives you the permit to actually study legally in Canada. And one thing that I must mention is that during your interview with the officers, they may even ask you for proof of funds to verify. So it could be that you have an account where the money has been deposited, or you have already paid your tuition. You need to have a receipt for that. If you have a debit or a credit card, make sure you have that handy because they will ask you more questions. And the reason why they are doing all this is that as a border officer, they can now send anyone back if they are not satisfied with that they are actually coming here for a genuine reason. And one thing I always tell people is that you are not in Canada until you leave the airport in Canada. Please don't even stress about buying a return ticket because you only need one-way ticket. But if you are on a visitor's visa, please know that you need to have your return ticket with you because the officers, they will ask you at the airport. And once you are issued a study permit, do not make the mistake that some students made in the past and now they are out of the country. You cannot work on or off campus until you begin your studies in Canada. You need to have started your first day of class before you can work, and failure to do this can land you in trouble with IRCC. You don't want to get into trouble. You can find this information on the Government of Canada website. Now let's talk about housing, because this is something that a lot of immigrants or newcomers struggle with. And I'm not going to sugarcoat it. Canada is having a housing crisis right now. Rent is high and the demand is crazy. So if you wait to look for housing or accommodation until you arrive or land in Canada, you're really going to struggle. I have seen international students pay thousands on Airbnb or hotel because they could not find a place on time. So this is what I'm trying to tell you. Secure your accommodation before you arrive in Canada. Look at student residence or any trusted rental groups, and you can ask your school if they support any housing, because some schools do. And please be careful of scams, because they happen in Canada. If the deal looks too good to be true, a house of $1,000 for you have to check that it's true. You can find housing on Kijiji or rental.ca, or ask people in your WhatsApp groups or even on Facebook Marketplace. I have seen some, but please don't say Gloria said you should go to Facebook Marketplace. Make sure you don't pay for anything until you see what you are actually going to pay for. Okay, spousal open work permit. Let's talk about that. Here is the big change. You see, and a lot of people I know, they are not really aware of it, especially if you're coming to Canada with your spouse, or that's the plan for you. Starting January 21, 2025, your spouse or your common law partner may be eligible for an open work permit only if you have a valid study permit and you're studying a master's degree program of at least 16 months or longer, or you are studying in a doctoral degree program, participating in an eligible program, or you're studying in one of the professional degree programs at a university in Canada. So what this means is that if you as an international student, you are in a college diploma program, you do not unfortunately qualify for a spousal open work permit for your spouse. That's why I always tell people that when you are choosing a program, don't just look at the tuition fee and say, this is a cheap program, let me go for it. Ask yourself, is this program going to be beneficial for me and my family? Because if it is not, it might jeopardize your family or your dependents being able to come to Canada with you. Changing schools. This is something that you guys need to note, because this change came recently. If you're switching your program or you're switching your school, this is what you need to know. If you are looking to transfer your new program must start the same time as your old one. So if your current program starts in September, for example, and you are changing to a new program, your new school's program must also start in September of that year. If your application for a study permit has been approved and you now change your designated learning institute, that's your DLI, you now need to submit a new study permit application to IRCC and get a new letter of acceptance to study in that particular DLI. Please note that many schools now have been mandated to send your progress reports to IRCC. So please, when you are trying to change school or change programs, make sure that you know what you are doing. Let's talk about work hours. Enough about that. The new rules about working in Canada as an international student. This is what everybody wants to know. How many hours can I work as an international student? The truth now is that you can work 24 hours per week during school session. Before now, it used to be 20 hours, but now it's 24 hours. So you can only work 24 hours every week during scheduled school. So during the school breaks like winter, summer, or reading week, you can work full time. And this is my advice to you. Do not work more than 24 hours if it's going to hurt your grades, because your primary reason for studying or being in Canada is to study. If your grades go below and it drops, your study permit could actually be in trouble. I know of international students who worked hours and hours and it affected their postgraduate work permit. They were not able to get it. So you might think that, let me work so many hours, no problem. It is when you want to apply for a postgraduate work permit that you will have issues with IRCC, because they will remind you of your sins that you have committed in the past. You understand? Now, let's also talk about planning ahead. You know, what you need to know. It might sound boring, but listen to me. It is important for you to plan everything you do in Canada. Do your own research. Don't just rely on, hey, this person said it on WhatsApp group or somebody's cousin advised me to do this. No. Before you choose a program, check the official IRCC website for postgraduate work permit eligibility programs. Before you rent, research your area. Before you apply for a job, adjust your resume to the Canadian standard. There are many Canadian style resumes that are online. Review them and work on your own. If you can, pay for somebody to help you to fix your resume and prepare you for interviews. Work on your LinkedIn account, because that is where you get a place to network with people and also find jobs in Canada. Let me tell you, lack of preparation costs you time, money, and sometimes your status in this country. So, don't just rely on what people say. Try to find the information yourself. I'm going to say this right now. Canada is expensive. You're working, you're paying bills, you're going to classes, and maybe you even have family responsibilities here and back home. But please remember that you don't just need to work and study non-stop. Live your life a little. Join clubs, volunteer, go to events. And why am I saying this? Because connections could be the reason why you get your first full-time job in Canada. Because employers here in Canada, they value soft skills. And the fact that you're networking as much as possible would also help you in Canada to thrive. And please try to rest as you work, because this body requires rest. And this particular point I'm going to talk about, put an asterisk on it. Don't wait until your graduation to think about your immigration plans. If you already have work experience from back home, start working on your express entry profile as soon as possible. You could qualify for permanent residency faster than you think you can. And also think strategically. Some provinces like Manitoba or the Atlantic provinces, they have easy PR pathways for international students that have graduated. So if you plan well, your choice of program and your location can be the difference between you getting your permanent resident immediately. So I know some international students during my time, they got their PR immediately after studies, and that's because they planned ahead. And remember, because you did a 2-year program and you have the mindset that you get a 3-year work permit, remember that there are some students that did a 1-year program and they started applying for their PR and they got their PR before other people that did a 2-year program. Okay? So please be smart about this. And there's honestly so much that I can share on this video, but I have seen that I have gone past 10 minutes already, and I'm going to recap all that I've said so far. Build the right community, book your flights early and smart, carry your documents on your carry-on luggage or in your carry-on luggage, secure your accommodation early, know the new spousal permit rules because they keep changing. Follow your school transfer rules because they keep changing. Stay on track and stick to your 24 hours of work. Do not work more than 24 hours. Plan your life, not just your classes. And always think ahead about your immigration plans. If you do these things that I've said, you won't just survive here in Canada as an international student, but you will thrive. And like I always tell newcomers, may the land in Canada favor you. Okay, Gloria, I've said so much. I've been speaking for long right now. So this is what I have for you on today's video on the changes that international students need to know in 2025. If you found this video very helpful, do me a favor. Hit the like button. Share this video with somebody who you know is coming to Canada and will also benefit from my video. And of course, if you've watched up until now and you haven't subscribed, please go ahead and subscribe to my channel if you have not done so already, so that you don't miss any updates that I'm going to be sharing. And I really want to hear from you, so please drop a comment in the comment section. Are you planning to move to Canada to study in September 2025, or are you already here and you have some experiences or you have some challenges? Let us help each other out. We are one, and let's try to share this information. And please don't forget to watch the videos that will pop up on your screen shortly. Thank you so much for all the support on my channel. I know that I've been away for a while. I would explain that in a different video, but until I see you in my very next video, please stay safe and bye.